Why the Paris Agreement is the last hope for our planet. If you're wondering that how you can help to save our planet, then this video is a must watch. We'll be discussing why the Paris Agreement is our last hope for the planet and what we can do to support it. Then you don't want to miss this video, stick to the video till end and don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel. Hello everyone and welcome to Climate Crunch YouTube channel. In this video, we'll be discussing about the Paris Agreement. Climate change is one of the most pressing issues of our time, and the Paris Agreement represents a historic effort to address this global challenge. So the question arises what the Paris Agreement is. This agreement was created as a response to the growing concern over the impact of climate change. Scientists have warned the world that if global temperature continues to rise and unchecked, we will see more frequent and intense heat waves, droughts, floods, storms, and other extreme weather events. These changes will have devastating consequences for ecosystem, food security, water availability, and human health, particularly for vulnerable populations such as those living in the poverty, small island nation, and indigenous communities. The 2 and 1.5 degrees Celsius temperature are the targets set by the Paris Agreement, were chosen based on the best available scientific evidence. This temperature represents the maximum amount of warming that the world can tolerate without experiencing catastrophic and irreversible impacts. To achieve these goals, countries from all around the world agreed to reduce their greenhouse gas emissions and also to regularly report on their progress. The Paris Agreement also includes the provisions for providing financial and technical support. This support is for developing countries to help them transition to low-carbon economies and also to adopt the impact of climate change. This support is critical to ensure that the transition to a more sustainable future is fair and equitable, and also that vulnerable populations are not left behind. So why Paris Agreement is so important? This agreement is very important because it takes steps toward mitigating the impact of climate change and also ensuring a sustainable future for our planet. It is a response to the reality that human activities such as burning fossil fuels, deforestation, and industrial processes are causing the Earth's temperature to rise at an alarming rate. The agreement recognizes that limiting global warming to well below 2 degrees Celsius is essential to prevent the most catastrophic impact of climate change, such as sea level rise, extreme weather events, and loss of biodiversity. In fact, the research shows that even a small increase in temperature can have devastating consequences for the planet and its inhabitants. To achieve this goal, the Paris Agreement set out a framework for the countries to take action to reduce their greenhouse gas emission and transition to a low-carbon economy. Each country is required to set their own targets for reducing emission, and also to regularly report on their progress toward meeting those targets. Again, the question arises that what happens if we don't act? If we do not act to address the climate change, the consequences will be catastrophic. Rising temperature will lead to more frequent and severe heat waves, droughts, floods, and storms. This will have devastating impact on human health, agriculture, and infrastructure, and also it will inflame the social and economic inequality. So what we can do to support the Paris Agreement? There are many things that individuals, organizations, and governments can do to support the Paris Agreements. Here are the few examples. Individuals can reduce their carbon footprints by driving less, using public transportation, eating a plant-based diet, and supporting renewable energy initiatives. Also, companies can adopt sustainable practices, invest in renewable energy, and reduce their greenhouse gas emission. Governments can implement policies and regulations that incentivize the transition to a low-carbon economy, such as carbon pricing, renewable energy mandates, and the energy efficiency standards. Also, civil society organizations can advocate for climate action and hold governments and companies accountable for the commitment. So that's it, guys. If we conclude the video, we can say that the Paris Agreement is our last hope for the planet. It represents a historic effort to address the urgent threat to the climate change. And it also provides a framework for the countries to work together to reduce emission and transition to a low-carbon economy. However, the success of agreement depends on the action of individuals, organizations, and governments around the world. We all have a role to play in supporting the Paris Agreement and ensuring a sustainable future for ourselves and the future generation. So thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Climate Crunch YouTube channel for